Hello and welcome to the Hellraiser Boxing YouTube channel. Guys, if you like today's blog, please hit the subscribe button. Really good night of boxing tonight. I thought, people complained about pay-per-view, but I thought you can't really complain about that. Some really good fights. Derek Chisora, I wasn't exactly feeling like emotional, but I was sort of like, oh, he's really taken some stick. And I thought right from the off, I thought Derek didn't look switched on. He looked like his timing was out of sync. It looked to me like he was getting beat to the punch a lot, and that worried me because it made me think that this might be like one fight too many for him. And I had him losing probably the first 3 rounds by quite a distance, and I was just actually thinking I almost would rather him get hit with one shot and the fight gets stopped than him just take this beating, because it was getting too much. And just as I was thinking that, he landed a punch, and then the guy Takam got to his feet and he landed another one, an overhand right, and won the fight. So that was pretty amazing. I mean, Takam strangely came into the ring wearing like what looked like sort of trainers, like sneakers. He looked a little bit podgy to me. Didn't look quite as sort of good nick as we've seen him previously. However, he came in. He was the aggressor. I had him ahead on points. He was working Chisora over really, and Chisora was sort of swiping at him after he missed, and I just thought the signs did not bode well at all. But he found the equaliser, and that's all that matters, because he's now won the fight by knockout. I don't know where Derek goes from there. I don't think you could put him in for like a big title, but it certainly puts him back in the frame for some big fights. So that's good news for him. The main event, I was so frustrated. I thought Joseph Parker, he looked like he was actually quite clearly the better boxer. He was nicking long periods of rounds, but it just wasn't working enough. And he did look like didn't really have any urgency about what he was doing. Which, apart from like the last 3 rounds, I thought he won. Obviously the last round and a half, he really went for it. If he'd have started going for it like that about round 6, I think he won the fight as he liked. He seemed content to sort of follow around the ring, which is basically what he'd done against in the second half of the fight against Joshua. And because of that happened against Joshua, I was convinced he won't do that again. You know, he's going to find that extra gear a little bit earlier and have a bit more urgency and be a bit more assertive and make the win. But he seemed to I don't know. It's like he seemed in a little bubble, like, you know, just I mean, he obviously the first knockdown is from a headbutt. It's very clear that it's from a headbutt. That might have dazed him, possibly. But I mean, he wasn't really pushing before that, and the rounds are just ticking by, and he's cost himself a win there. It's absolutely cost him a huge amount of money, and it's cost him a win. When he actually let his hands go, I know Whyte was tiring in the last 3 rounds, but had he have let his hands go earlier, I think Whyte would have tired quicker. But obviously, it's one thing taking a break, you know, for a period during the fight, but it's a completely different thing, you taking a break and letting the other person take a break as well, which is what he was doing. I mean, he was letting Whyte work at his own pace, and I mean that's definitely not a good idea. I think he needed to, when he wanted to take his breaks, he had to make sure that he popped the jab out and that he kept Dillian working, and then he could have stepped it up in the second half of the fight, and I think he would have got a stoppage there. I mean, he was very close to getting it anyway, but he's just almost unbelievably, he's thrown away a world title opportunity. I mean, if he won that, he was right back in the frame, and just by basically I don't know what to say. Was it not bothering, or not wanting to engage? He's cost himself the fight. All in all, I thought it was a really, really good night's boxing. I thought Katie Taylor, her fight was a bit one-sided, but she looked very impressive. I used to not really like women's boxing when it first sort of started, just because the standard was significantly lower than the men's boxing most of the time. I did see a couple of good fights, but most of the time it wasn't. But Katie Taylor is definitely, on the level. I mean, she was really impressive, I thought, tonight. I think it started off with Frank Buglioni, who had quite an easy assignment, but I thought he looked quite tidy, and he was sort of made quite easy work of his opponent. I haven't enjoyed watching boxing like that for a long while. I thought it was really good. I was disappointed because I thought the main event, obviously I went for Parker. I thought Parker would win that quite handily. I found it so frustrating because actually I felt like he could win it handily if he can go for it. Dillian, very, very tough guy, and Dillian made a lot of the running, like the pace and the way the fight was fought. But we expect roughhouse tactics from someone like Dillian, because he hasn't got that depth of amateur experience, and he's a big strong guy. Whether the extra pounds that he put on contributed to how tired he was at the end, that's possible, and I think they need to look at that, because the last 3 rounds he was very lucky to get through it. And again, it was only really the last round and a half that Parker really sort of asserted himself. If Parker had sort of started pushing it even earlier in those last 3 rounds, when White was really clearly in trouble, and not given Dillian Whyte the breathers, that win. I mean, look, if the round had gone on for an extra 30 seconds, he probably would have won it. So he's got to look at that, because already did it. I mean, I thought against Joshua he was okay for the first half of the fight. The second half of the fight he was terrible, and for that reason I thought, okay, we're going to see the next time he's going to improve on that. He's going to do something, more. He'll show that urgency. He'll cut the ring off, and he'll start using the advantages that he's got in speed and in movement and the angles. But he just didn't do it, and I think he has to, he didn't do so badly that he will never get another shot again. But it's just an opportunity thrown away. He could have had a win there. He could have done it, and he didn't. He for whatever reason, he chose not to push earlier, and I think he should have done. I think he's going to wake up tomorrow and sort of look at it and think, yeah, again, I should have pushed earlier. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching the Hellraiser blog. Please, if you enjoyed the blogs, give us a like and a subscribe, and I look forward to doing more blogs for you soon. Cheers very much. Bye bye.